Today's episode of the Ross Cloud podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.
Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Ross, and this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. Navigate with us through the clouds as we empower each other. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's listening all over the world. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud podcast. Listen, we have a very, I'm going to put emphasis on that, special guest with us on today. We have the one and only Miss Rochelle Tucker, who is the Assistant Finance Director for the City of Reidsville. Let me put some respect on that. The great city of Reidsville, and the chair of the Action Committee for the Rockingham County Branch NAACP. How are you, Miss Tucker?
I'm blessed by the best, my brother.
I know that's right. I absolutely love it. Listen, I want to tell you, it's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here. This is a big deal for us here at the Ross Cloud podcast, and we want to say thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
Man, when me and Jamal talked, boy, it's good when people know people that know people, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, help me know somebody.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we're going to get the word out, Miss Tucker, and we can make sure folk know who you are.
Oh, bless you.
Yes, ma'am, because this is a very, very important conversation that I feel like we're going to have on today. We're going to have a couple of discussions on today. So I'll start off with the first. First of all, how did you get into this arena that you're in now in politics? How did you find yourself in it?
My father served as the Rockingham County Commissioner for several years. I think it was over 20 years in the Rockingham County area.
Okay.
He served as chairman there for several terms, and then he just served as a member of the board.
Okay.
I really didn't know much about it prior to my dad being in it.
Right
but
on.
Then as he got in it, we just kind of got dragged into it.
I got you, yeah.
Having to attend meetings and then get in conversation with him at home and understanding exactly what was going on, what his role was in serving the people of Rockingham County.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of got excited about that. And then when I went on to high school, then I was involved in my student government.
Yeah.
And my student council, it wasn't quite the same
I understand what you're saying.
Platform, but I enjoyed it. And then when I went to Carolina, I got involved in student government there and worked, and so just kind of continued on down that path. And then when I came back home, I decided to get back involved with the NAACP.
Yeah.
And we merged. We are now merged. It used to have Reidsville, Eden, and other areas within Rockingham County.
Yes.
But we are now a Rockingham County branch.
I love it.
And it just kind of fell my lot to be the chair of political action.
Yeah.
And what we basically do, we are a nonpartisan organization.
Yes.
So we're not pushing a certain party. We don't have any permanent friends. We just got permanent issues.
I understand.
That we are working with. And so we try to look at those candidates who align themselves with the things that we're fighting for. And so my role as chair of my committee is to educate and empower, inform, get our people involved in the voting process. And Tabor, Chris, even now, with all that's going on, don't you know that there are still people who feel like they don't need to vote or don't need to be involved in the process, don't need to understand or watch anything that's going on politically?
Yes.
But my brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you, politics affects everything that we do, down to just going in the grocery store sometimes, the prices that we pay for things.
Yeah.
It's all designed or all comes from somebody that has set policies somewhere.
I love that. I love that. You know what? This is a great segue. This is going to be an easy conversation. I love it. I absolutely love it. I might not even have to ask you no questions.
All right.
But the one thing that I wanted to ask you, I heard Killer Mike, who was talking on television. He was talking about the importance of us getting involved in our local communities, going to the town hall meetings of that nature. If you would, could you speak to that and talk a little bit even more so? Because I heard you say that a little bit earlier. How can we, the people, get involved with that? Is it just a matter of showing up, Ms. Tucker?
It is a matter of showing up.
Okay.
We ask our members to attend local board meetings, county commissioner meetings, any of the city council meetings, any of the boards that are operating around, because the local people, really policies that affect us more directly than anything are the local boards. So they make policies about things that happen. City council makes policies regarding things that you can do within your city or within your municipality. The board of commissioners, they decide how much money will be going to your schools, the sheriff department, all of the jurisdictions that are under the county commissioners. So it is very important. And also, bro, those are people that we see every day.
Yeah, that's right.
Or on a regular basis. Now, we've got state offices on the ballot this time.
Sure.
And so a lot of people are saying, well, I don't know this person. I don't know that person.
Yeah.
Because they are statewide and they're having to cover the entire state. But the local politics is very important because, as I said, we are seeing those folks, and they're governing just kind of what we can do every day around the areas in which we live.
And that goes from judges to everything in our local everything.
In our local area.
Man.
Now, we don't have any local judges on our ballot this time
understood.
around.
Okay,
but
understood.
It was very important a few years ago because Rockingham County got its first African-American female judge.
Wow.
After all of the years, we just got through celebrating 150 years for the City of Reidsville.
Oh, man, I got to clap it up for that.
With all of those years and years prior within the county, no female has ever sat at the bench.
Man, kudos for that.
As many folk that look like you and me that are before the bench, we never had anybody that looked like us on the bench.
Ain't that beautiful?
And isn't that a
wonderful
sad state of affairs?
I mean,
it took
absolutely.
That long? But we are glad. Thank God for that. Erica Stanfield Brandon.
Man, salute to you, sister. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, which is a great segue. Jabal was telling me a little bit about your first black mayor of Reidsville as well.
Yes.
His name is Donald
Goins.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
What is that? What is this? What does this mean for Reidsville?
It means for Reidsville that we have somebody not only that looks like us,
that's
but he lives around us. He goes to church with us. We see him on a not an everyday basis,
but I got
but
you
on
though.
a regular basis, and that we can have, we have his ear. And he always tells us if there's something that you see or that you all are concerned about. Please call me. He's got that open door policy.
I love that.
And so it's wonderful to have a person of color sitting in that mayor seat.
I know that's right. Man, you got to be jumping out of your bones then every time you hear of these great, magnificent stories. And listen, folks, I know we still got a long way to go.
Yes, we do.
But when I look at some of the folks that are blazing the trails for us, that are making these moves, it's absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we want to keep more of those. It was something you were saying a few minutes ago as it pertained to politics. And, most of the time, black folks, we don't get involved with politics because I guess sometimes we feel like we've been left out of it for so long, or we feel like, well, they writing laws that don't even matter. Or not even for us. If you would, can you kind of speak to that as it pertains to some of the laws? And I think we might have already talked about it, the importance of us being at those meetings and getting involved with our local politics and knowing what's going on. Would you say that would be the beginning of it, Rochelle?
Well, that would be the beginning of it, but then we also need to pay attention to the state legislators, because they kind of govern what's going on with our state board of elections.
Understood.
And a lot of people, I think, don't want to participate because they feel like it's such a struggle for us to actually get to the ballot box.
Yeah.
The NAACP was involved in a lawsuit several years ago when the voter ID first became a possibility.
Yeah.
And after the lawyers there and other folk that did research got the information together, that lawsuit was won by our people that, yes, they figured out a way that they saw that there were a lot of us that didn't have IDs. And so then that would prevent us from actually voting.
Yeah.
And of course the ID now, we still have to vote now with the ID.
That's
can't
right.
come back around. But I try to tell people, don't let that sidetrack.
Don't let it.
There's no excuse for us being able to, not being able to get an ID. We're going to need one at some point in time anyway.
That's right.
So we need to have one, but we need to pay attention because, just as easily as they put in the voter ID, they can put in something else that will prevent our people, or not merely so much prevent us, but just cause us a hardship to go and vote. And so we do need to pay attention to the local and the state level.
Okay, love it. As it pertains to voting, do you think early voting is still good? Is it good to do early voting? And what's the purpose of early voting?
It is very good because when that started, I go.
Oh yeah.
And I tell people, y'all don't know what it's going to be doing on election day. And my brothers and sisters, we are guilty on Sunday morning that if we wake up and turn over and see those raindrops pitter-patter on our window, we might just turn in the other direction and keep sleeping.
We stand in the bed.
And stay in the bed and go to Bedside Baptist. And if that happens on election day, I ain't going to stand in no rain and go vote. I'm not going to do that.
That's so true.
I say those 17 days that we have of early voting, there's going to be some sunshine in there somewhere.
Yes.
Go on a sunny day.
And
there, our voting began on the 15th. Early voting began on the 15th of February. And they started 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And they've been running to 7:30 at night. So that captures anybody that works first shift, second, or third shift. There is no excuse.
No excuse.
You can steal some time somewhere in there. So it's very important, and it gives everybody an opportunity at some point in there to cast your vote.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I know that you are the assistant financial director. So one question I wanted to ask you, whenever you are approaching different strategies to address any potential financial risk or uncertainties for the city, what is that like? What is that process like for you all? Without divulging of too much information, of course. Yeah. What is that like? Is that a tough thing to do? Is that tough?
Well,
as you managing that?
It is sometimes. The thing that has helped us over the last few years is that grants have become more available to the city. Yeah. And so there are several of our departments that have applied for grants and they have received that funding. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that we do.
Sure.
And we'd have to look at, where are we going to get the biggest bang for our buck?
Sure.
Every department from even our department down to the streets line, sewer line,
recreations, all of that. I got you.
Everybody wants all of this kind of stuff.
Sure.
But everybody can't get that.
Yeah.
So we have to prioritize, the big ticket items.
I understand.
That kind of thing. And so grants have been a lifesaver for us to help fund a lot of projects that we would not have normally had.
This is beautiful because some years ago, I used to work for the sanitation department in Forsyth County. Okay. So I used to work for the sanitation department. Many years ago, I did a second tour, I like to say, working with the sanitation department, and then I got up out of there. That's all I'm going to say, Rochelle. Woo, Lord have mercy. Much respect to the brothers that work in sanitation, though. It's a job not for everybody, but those that do it, my hat's off to them, and I salute them because I understand I've done it. But to the point that you was making, now I understand that even when those that are up top in that level, there are things that they're asking for that certain department where, well, you know, we like to get this and we like to get this. Now I understand. You're helping me understand. So this is the knowledge that you're talking about to help us kind of understand. Now, can folk donate? Like, say, for instance, you have a multimillionaire and he say, listen, I want to give and help the government with this. Is that where those grants come in at?
The grants.
So it's a process with that too, Rochelle, if you wanted to give?
Yeah, you can do that because, in fact, we're very proud of a park that was just completed here a few months ago. So it's a park right behind City Hall, and it caters to those who are disabled or handicapped.
I love that, yeah.
And so we got some grant money for that, but then we had organizations like Kiwanis,
understand,
different groups, Reidsville JCs, other groups that say, hey, we want to be a part of that.
Understood.
So we want to buy this, and maybe now y'all can put up cameras, and maybe now if we donate this, we can do that.
Understood.
To assist in the overall budget of that. So we kind of like the Baptist church. We don't turn down any money.
Church ain't said amen.
Amen.
Yes. So when you have things like the situation that happened with the Jackie Robinson statue, where somebody chopped, you know, I don't know how that happened, but they had an incident happen. I forgot where it was, and somebody destroyed it. How does the city go about getting that monument put back up again, or do they? Is the process is the same?
Well,
grant money, or do you go and pull from other resources to make that happen?
Funny you would mention that about the monument, because we didn't have a Jackie Robinson.
Really?
But we had a little Confederate soldier, and Jamal knows what I'm talking about. He was in the middle of our little turnabout.
You know what you did? That's right.
He stood that tall for many years. Now, we, you know, those of us of color didn't really appreciate. We were just
we didn't.
Okay, celebrating this Confederate soldier. We know what they were fighting for.
Absolutely.
Well, one night, I think it was early one morning, evidently some brother was on his way doing something and fell asleep at the wheel and came crashing through that monument, and it was knocked over. So therein began the debate for
to put it back up or leaving it on down.
So, you know, there was some headbutting there. There was some saying, no, we don't need to put it up. We didn't want it up anyway. Then others were saying, well, it was up there all these years. We need to put it back. Well, I think the council debated, and so the compromise was that, okay, let's put the soldier somewhere else.
Understood.
And because it really didn't belong to the city anyway, it was given by the Daughters of the American Revolution.
That's right. That's right.
So they agreed to put it somewhere else.
Okay.
And then the city commissioned some people to design something that we could put there.
Understood.
So that it's just not an empty thing.
Understood.
And so then we wound up, you know, getting some money, and we had a developer, and now we have a little something there.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for answering that, because I'm telling you, I'm hoping that the folks that may not be engaged in some type of way with politics, they can kind of understand how all of this works. You know, exactly. It takes money to do things.
It does.
And
it does. But the people coming out and speaking, saying that we don't want this, you know, that made a difference, and the council members listened to that.
I got you. How does the NAACP work with those type of conversations, Rochelle? Like, how does that go down? Like, you have one side that's this way, you have one side that's this way, because I know it's all about inequality, anything, and any kind of systemic inequality that's happening in our society. How does the NAACP get involved with that, if need be?
Well, we just participate as the citizens, you know, to speak our voice.
Okay, got you.
What we feel like ought to happen. And then
understood.
Once we watch what happens, then if there's something that looks like it's just kind of unbalanced, or, you know, there's some inequities here, then we have to go and voice our concerns to to the council, but it didn't work that way this time. We didn't, thank God we didn't have to jump in with that one. So
I love it. I love it. What are some of the NAACP's key policy priorities and advocacy efforts?
One of the main things that we in terms of our policies that we're looking towards now is making sure that we have fair representation across the board. Unfortunately, there are not many who look like us who sit at the table. So what we then have to do is to be present in the audience and pay attention to the policies that affect our children.
Understood.
There was a time that we got involved when there was a firing of the superintendent.
Understood.
And we felt that was unfair. So we had to voice our concerns there. That wound up the superintendent did get reinstated.
Sure.
And so things with our school system, because those children can't defend themselves. It's up to us to defend them. So we're looking at fair policies, making sure our children are getting the best education that they can get. Because we understand now there's a movement to kind of eradicate the public schools.
I've been
so
seeing that.
We're paying attention to that, but policies are already in place. To follow the child. The monies follow the children.
Absolutely.
So but we still have to sit back and make sure that our children are getting the best that they can get.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of their education.
Yes, ma'am.
And then just overall safety concerns around the city, making sure that things are clicking and they're fair to everybody.
Absolutely. Do you guys? Or let me just ask you, do you do anything as it pertains to like some of the food disparities that we see happening within our communities as it pertains to like some kids still not being able to get their lunch? Or does the NAACP get involved with that at all?
We have not. So much. That has not been reported to us as an issue.
Okay, understood.
But the children, I think, are being catered to by many of the churches.
Sure.
Because I know my own individual church. Every month we get food and make sure that a certain school gets it for the children to put in their backpacks. Because 2024 children are not getting enough food.
I know, right?
But it doesn't make it right. It just makes it the way that it is. So that issue specifically has not come to us.
Okay, understood.
But I think those of us who are involved in different churches and outreach ministries, that need is being addressed.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I had to ask you about that. The next thing I wanted to ask you about was gerrymandering. Can you kind of explain to folks just a little bit about gerrymandering and how it works? And one question I wanted to ask you about gerrymandering. Do you think it's fair to politicians that may not cater to those that are in that environment, that may not know them from that environment?
Absolutely, it's not fair.
I knew you was going to say it, but I had to ask you, Rochelle.
So it's like the politicians, if you can just imagine on this table here, this area. Now, let me see. It's a whole lot of black people that live here, so I don't want that group, but I know it's a group of Republicans here in West. So I want my district to be this area here. Now, y'all can have them over there. I don't want them. But I know this group over here, they will support me. So it's like the politicians are getting to select the folk that they know will support them. And I think as a result of that, we're going to have one or two great politicians who are not going to run for re-election just because, at least right now,
they're not going to get that vote.
They're not going to get the vote. And, bro, it is sad that we have become so partisan that, and we see that happening when we turn on the TV and see what's going on in D.C. We won't help folk. If I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican and you bring something to the table, it's to the point now, he a Republican.
I ain't helping him.
We're not going to vote for that.
And
so what my dad always said was, when he said it, he was a Democrat, and there were Republicans at the table, Democrats and Republicans. It did not matter what party they were, because they weren't there to serve one another.
That's right.
They are there to serve the citizens of Rockingham County. And so if we would stop looking at trying to serve our best interest and serve our constituents' interests, then I think we'd be a whole lot better off.
I know that's right. You know what's missing? Love.
That's right.
Too much judging.
We just love us of ourselves.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to get all
Ain't no love for the fellow man at all. It's missing out of our society.
Right. Exactly.
We want to point the finger and say, well, this ain't right, that ain't right. Wait a minute, man. We got to get this policy taken care of.
Right.
I love you enough to say, hey, let's get this policy enough because it's going to help this group of folk right here.
Right.
Let's fix this. Let's vote on this and let's make it work. Let's make it happen.
Right.
Whether I agree with you or disagree with you, I love people enough to say, hey, let's get this done for them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, I see it, Chris, it's a power play.
It is.
If I feel like I got all the power and I can convince all my little group, my little camaraderies, okay, we ain't gonna vote for that. I don't care what Chris brings to the table today, and we don't care who it helps. We gonna go out of here saying, well, we blocked that.
We block it. Yeah.
We blocked that. It doesn't matter that it might have put some extra money in people's pockets, or it might have put some extra food on some folks' table. Just like with the Medicaid expansion.
Come on,
we
sister.
just now are being able to get that here in the state because our representatives didn't want to vote for it.
Ain't that something?
It is something. But when it does not affect them directly, that's the same thing with the guns.
That's the same way with the guns.
If their children hadn't been shot,
man, they'll hurry up and put them things in place. Real quick.
That's what it's going to almost.
If their children start dying by the hands of some of these police officers. Now, listen, I'm not saying all police officers are bad because I'm going to call the police if something happened at my house. Right. So I'm not saying all police officers are bad, but that select few, that bad bunch in there.
Right.
And
with the gun
laws,
we
got to get that stuff straight.
Because it is no reason that Jamal needs an AK-47 or AR-15. I don't even know what all the A's they are. But he does not need an assault rifle.
Lord have mercy.
He has good sense. No. But now, any Joe Blow can go buy an assault rifle. And
that's
then
so
what
true.
do we hear?
Yeah.
That this one was mentally, had some mental issues.
Yeah.
But they were able to get a gun.
Yeah.
I don't mind people having a gun.
Oh, not at all.
Everybody
not
needs
at all.
Maybe a little shotgun or a little 49, Saturday night special. I don't even know the gun.
Boy, that Saturday night special hurt you real bad, though. I will tell you that. Yes, sir. That's old school, but yes, sir.
The average adult or young adult does not need an assault weapon.
Oh, not at all.
I tell folks, if you want one that bad, join the Army.
Join the Army. They give you a couple. I done shot a couple of them when I was in there. You get to enjoy the bazooka. You get to enjoy that 50 cal, 40 cal, the M16, the Beretta. Yeah, just have at it. Right. Just right. Join the military.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's no reason for anybody to have those type of weapons on the street. What are you trying to do? You ain't at war with nobody.
And just, if I got the money, I can
buy it. Yeah.
No kind of checks and balances.
Yeah, and I think they just changed those laws too, didn't they? They went back to you can just go purchase a gun. I think, right? You can just purchase a weapon. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's scary.
I don't think it has to be a certain number of days.
Yeah, because
they have to check you out.
They was real strict on those guns. So you're right. That's a problem. We looking at the problem in Chicago, in the south side of Chicago. Mm-hmm. We're looking at what's been happening in these areas. Right in our own backyard.
Yes, sir.
Greensboro and Forsyth County and Charlotte. Those numbers are astronomically high. Mm-hmm. The murder rate is going up, and they're happening in our communities.
But it is. And so there are your policies.
There you go.
They are controlled by the politicians. And so that's why it behooves us to get involved and to stay, write letters to these politicians.
I got you.
I think if we would, I use the example is, if you outside and it's a little net that's around you, you've been outside and
that get on your darn nerves. Yes, sir. You gonna
just worrying you to
death.
I think if we start buzzing around some of these politicians' ears enough of us, there might be some
change.
made.
I absolutely agree with that. That's a great analogy because a gnat will get on your nerve, won't it? You get to swatting at that thing. You're right. Eventually. Yeah.
Something is going to change.
Something's going to change. I'm going to tell you, Rochelle, this has just been a breath of fresh air in this conversation. I thank you so much. And I love the fact, when you talk to most folks that are in positions like yours, sometimes they don't seem personable, but you're very personable. And your energy is all that.
I'm just me.
You're just you.
I'm just
so it makes it easy to have this conversation with you. Is there anything else you kind of want to touch on or address?
Just want to say thank you for
You're welcome.
the opportunity, and just want to say to those who are listening, please encourage somebody to vote. You go vote, and then load up the car and take your friends and relatives, because I think, Brother Chris, this election is probably going to be one of the most critical ones that we have ever seen, because everything that's near and dear to our hearts, everything from just democracy to women's rights, to possibilities of doing just things, democracy.
Oh, I'm with you.
All of that's on the ballot.
Yes,
educating our children, because we need to put the right folk in place.
Yeah, we do.
That care about the things that we care about. And so March is important, and then November will be extremely important.
Yeah, get out there and vote.
Yes, sir.
Get out there.
No excuse. No excuses for not voting.
I know that's right. Some of our elders, they didn't have an opportunity to vote, so it's very important that we exercise our right to vote.
Absolutely. And then the elders don't even have to get out of the car.
They sure don't.
They got to drive up.
That's right.
What is it called? Curbside voting.
They got curbside voting now.
Curbside voting. And let me say this for those who are listening. If grandma's driver's license has expired, but she was 65, at least 65 when it expired, she won't need to get a new license or a new ID. So there was at least one thing in there that's good, because there are a lot of seniors who are not driving.
Yeah, quite a few.
So I was glad to see that policy in there, so that anybody who did not have a current license, but they were over the age of 65, as long as whatever they got was still intact or was still good when they were 65, then they don't have to invest in a new ID.
Man, thank you for that. So listen, there's no excuse. Get out there and get your seniors out there to vote. You heard it right here on the Ross Cloud podcast from Miss Rochelle Tucker. And, Rochelle, we're going to close it out. But before we close it out, I got to have a little fun with you, okay?
All right, I'm all for that.
So I'm going to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
So it was said that we love sneakers.
Yes, we do.
It was said that if we get sneakers, that it would cause the vote of a certain candidate to go up.
Well.
So my question for you, sister, is, did you get your gold Trump sneakers?
Not quite yet, my brother. But I got my debit card in my pocketbook, and when I get out of here before midnight tonight, I'm going to charge me up a pair.
I absolutely love it. I love it, Rochelle Tucker. I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. I told Jamal, I said, I got to mess with the system.
That's all right, bro.
Yes, sir.
I just shook my head.
I done seen it all, right?
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Gold sneakers, baby. Oh, gold sneakers. Wow. Capitalism at its finest, right?
Yeah.
Boy, that's scary, though, ain't it?
It's scary.
Ooh. And thank God we got the lights on, because I can see all the black folks, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can see all
I can see all the ones, right?
Blacks for Trump.
Lord have mercy. What are we going to do?
I don't know.
I don't know. I tell you,
know.
sister. Lord
We're
have
gonna
mercy.
trust God.
We're going to trust God. That's all we can go on,
Yes,
right? So listen, I hope you guys have heard something today that can help you become a better you. Listen, as Ms. Tucker has stated, I'm going to echo it again. Get out there and exercise your right to vote. There's no excuse. And if you miss something, you want to rewind it back and get all of this great information that she has given you on today as it pertains to getting out to your local government and get inside those meetings and vote.
Absolutely.
And listen and get out there and find out what your rights are, what you can do and what you can't do. It starts right here in your local government, and then you go from there. So again, Ms. Tucker, thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Oh, thank you so.
Enjoy.
Yes, me too. This has been absolutely wonderful. So listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm Christopher Ross. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.